In the late 1960s, a deep paranoia settled over the San Francisco Bay Area. Residents were hunted by a phantom who completely ignored the established rules of criminal behavior, stepping out of the shadows to crave the public spotlight. Usually, a decades-old cold case stalls because investigators simply run out of physical evidence. But detectives pursuing the Zodiac Killer ran into the exact opposite problem. They were practically drowning in physical clues. The killer left behind a massive trail of artifacts. He abandoned a palm print on a dangling payphone receiver after an attack at Lake Berryessa. He allowed surviving victims to provide detailed physical descriptions for composite sketches. He even tore off a bloody piece of cab driver Paul Stein's shirt and mailed it to the press. He continuously taunted the police, mailing dozens of pages of his own distinct handwriting, complete with complex, multi-part ciphers sent directly to local newspapers, which creates a massive investigative contradiction. How could someone provide this much physical access to his life, his prints, his clothing, his very handwriting, and still remain a complete void to the people hunting him? For decades, investigators believed they had their man in Arthur Lee Allen. On paper, Allen aligned precisely with the profile. He lived in the area and placed himself within the immediate vicinity of the Lake Berryessa attack on the exact day it happened. The physical correlations were staggering. Investigators found footprints at the crime scenes belonging to a size 10.5 shoe. Arthur Lee Allen wore a size 10.5. Then there was his jewelry. Allen owned and regularly wore a Zodiac brand watch. The logo printed on that watch face is the exact same crossed circle symbol the killer used to sign his letters. When authorities showed a photo lineup to Michael Magow, who survived a point-blank shooting at Blue Rock Springs, he pointed directly to Allen's picture. Even modern suspects, like Air Force veteran Gary Francis Post, share similar geographic and physical overlaps, including distinct forehead scars that match police sketches. If the justice system relied strictly on geographic coincidence, consumer habits, and eyewitness identification from traumatized survivors alone, Arthur Lee Allen would have been convicted of the murders. But the narrative built around Allen hit a massive, impenetrable wall the moment investigators applied hard forensic science. This diagram shows how investigators compare fingerprint minutiae, the specific ridges, loops, and whorls that make a print unique. When analysts compared Arthur Lee Allen's fingerprints to the bloody prints pulled from the cab driver's taxi, the patterns were a complete mismatch. Allen was entirely excluded. The handwriting analysis yielded the exact same result. Police had boxes filled with Allen's daily writing, but professional analysts confirmed none of it matched the distinct slanted print found in the killer's letters. In 2002, the San Francisco Crime Lab developed a partial DNA profile. They extracted saliva from the stamps and envelopes mailed by the killer. They tested Allen's DNA against the sample. It was not a match. This is the ultimate nightmare for a detective. Human logic, geographic timing, and eyewitness accounts all pointed to a single, highly suspicious individual, while objective science unequivocally proved he didn't do it. With forensics stalled, investigators turned back to the killer's most labor-intensive project, the thousands of symbols he forced into the public record to ensure the world was always thinking about him. This is the original 408-character cipher, mailed in 3 separate panels to 3 different Bay Area newspapers in July 1969. The killer included a handwritten demand, threatening a weekend murder rampage if the papers refused to print the code on their front pages. This is the handwritten solution by Donald and Betty Hardin. They cracked the homophonic substitution code in days, beating the FBI. Scanning their translation, you read his terrifying motive. He claims he hunts humans because man is the most dangerous animal of all. And this is his follow-up, the Z340 cipher. Unlike the first code, this one used a complex diagonal transposition logic. It completely baffled supercomputers and cryptologists for 51 years, until a 3-person international team finally decoded it in 2020. Yet, once translated, the text only offered more rambling taunts. The codes were a brilliant, obsessive piece of theater designed to keep the public terrified, but they contained absolutely zero identifying information. The Zodiac essentially weaponized the press. He dictated the news cycle, secured front-page coverage, and he built the modern blueprint for the celebrity serial killer, all while securely hiding in the deep shadows. Today, the only concrete path forward relies on the killer's biological material. Investigators are turning to genetic genealogy, a process of uploading an unknown DNA profile to public databases and tracing shared genetic markers through distant relatives, slowly triangulating a suspect's identity. We know this works. In 2018, California authorities used this exact method to capture Joseph DeAngelo, the Golden State Killer, proving that a meticulous DNA family tree can break a cold case wide open half a century later. Until a definite match is finally found, we're left with a suspect who stepped into the brightest possible spotlight, handed over his signature, and walked away into a crowd he never truly left.